Hello and welcome to another episode of Same Cast Different Day podcast. I am your host Martel Rowland and hope everything is still going well out there for everybody and hope everybody is staying safe. But what I want to get into is in Atlanta, a young man by the name of Rashad Brooks was shot in the back by police officers, which they say was for a routine traffic stop for. They believe he was driving under the influence, and according to officers, when they tried to arrest him, Rashad went for their taser, and shot one of the tasers at the police and ran off. And one of the police officers decided to, as Rashad was running off, to shoot him 2 times in the back. When he was shot 3 times, two of the gunshot wounds were fatal. Based on the autopsy, it proved that the cause of death was due to a gunshot wound, and his death was ruled a homicide. And my question is for you people out there is, do you think that they were wrong? In my case, I think they were wrong because if, I'm sorry, if he, even though if it's another arresting officer there with the other officer who had his taser taken, why didn't the other officer just shoot his taser at the guy and take him down that way instead of shooting him in the back? Which I know you're not supposed to shoot people in the back. From police officers, they're not allowed to shoot people in the back, so that should be automatic termination, which I think the guy did get terminated. And it's crazy because when they was protesting Rashad getting killed at the Wendy's World, this took place, that they burned down the Wendy's. So I mean, Black Lives Matter is all I have to say about that. But we are in full-fledged Pride Month, so in celebration of Pride Month, I have a couple of people from the LGBTQ plus Wisconsin group, Madison, Eric, Claire, and Jackson, who are big in the LGBTQ community. I just want to say that with everything that's going on now, kind of happy that I waited to post this material, because with Trump recent giving physicians and insurance company basically taking away transgender people, what they call it, civil rights, uh, basically being able to not, basically saying that, hey, because you're transgender, I'm not going to insure you, type thing. So, this is a perfect time for me to release this. This was recorded a few weeks ago, I believe. So I'm very happy for all of you to hear this, and hopefully you guys get a whole bunch of information out of this. So without further ado, here's Madison, Claire, Eric, and Jackson.
Um, okay, so I'm live now. Great. Now that you said that, I'm
Come
gonna
on, man.
please.
Let's go, girl. Let's go. I'm with you. Let's go.
Well, I first started this as an event to. I kind of wanted this page to be about events more, but then after creating and thinking and involving, I should say, with my admins and moderators, we decided that why not just instead of making this a city thing, make this a state thing, where I would be able to bridge communities as best as I could, being able to get everybody together, kind of like its own like page LGBTQ group. That's kind of what I wanted to. That's my main focus, I should say. And then with having that, I also wanted to focus on younger youth because that's where nowadays we kind of probably should start focusing on. Like I felt that I was taken care of when I came out. I want to definitely go ahead and help our younger generation to be able to do the same thing. I know that the suicide rate is high, and it shouldn't. I'm going to get emotional, but it should never be high for anybody, for one thing, and most of all, because you can't help. Like you can't decide, oh, I'm going to be gay or I'm going to be lesbian today. It's that doesn't. You don't get that choice. It happens, and nobody should ever have to worry about not being accepted in their family or friends. So I guess, in a long story short, that's kind of why I decided to create this page. I wanted to be an equal for everybody, for every race, for every ethnicity and gender, for everybody.
That is so beautiful.
It's awesome.
Thank you. But yeah, I have great admins and some great moderators, and I have you guys, and you know, it wouldn't be possible without my group of supporters that are behind us, and so I think
Edison,
everybody.
we love you. We love you, girlfriend. At least I do.
Oh, thank you, Claire.
I do. I do.
Oh, Claire, you're awesome too.
So Claire fits in this mix because Madison recruited me as an admin. So I actually just got recruited. I don't know, maybe like 2-3 months ago, maybe. I don't know. Pretty new. I'm like a rookie, but I've done local events. I've done stuff with people in the old MSN chat room. So, and when I was a guy, even though I knew I wasn't really a guy, but I would always get together with people. We'd get together around the state, Wausau, Eau Claire, Milwaukee, Madison, and it would just, you know, people actually kind of interact and talk, and there was no judgment. Everyone just had a good time. You know, people kind of knew I wasn't like 100% a guy at the time, but they didn't judge me on it. They didn't say nothing. They just like, oh, you know, you are who we are, and that's it. Like, I mean, I can, you know, I tell you, I mean, I appreciate Madison, Eric, I appreciate everyone. You know, I appreciate all the admins. Madison, I really appreciate you a lot for bringing me on board. You know, I mean,
of course.
It's an honor. I mean, it's just like, this is like business to me now. That's what I call it, really. And yeah. I'm here on the legal end of life, just to make sure we're crossing our T's, dotting our I's, making sure we're playing by the rules. We're not going to be in any kind of crossfire, any troubles with Facebook. You know, we're going to try to make sure we keep safe, we keep professional. You know, like Madison said, you know, I try to take on. I mean, I have I'm mentoring right now a 14-year-old girl that's non-binary, and then I have 2 trans men. One's 18, one's 19. So, you know, really, to be honest with you, I'm okay with, you know, and yeah, everyone has their issues in life, but I'm okay with, you know, being their mother figure and trying to help them out and give them the best advice I can give them, and it's, I mean, that's the best thing I can do for them. God bless them. So if it wasn't for Madison.
Oh,
Madison and Eric. So there's the sappy part. Don't start crying now, because I'm gonna cry. But if it was for Madison and Eric, I wouldn't be able to do this. So God bless. So I appreciate that. But I appreciate everyone who gets to meet. And I promise.
We're really happy to have you.
I promise
Definitely.
Claire will be on the road. I will, as soon as we can get everything to a little more safer levels, or maybe meet in a park with our cars or something, whatever we got to do. But don't worry. Claire we'll get this figured out. I will kind of get the logistics of that. We're going to work with Elise, because Elise is our events coordinator, does all that stuff. So we'll work on it. If not, there's a possibility where you know, Claire with maybe a few of my friends might just do a random, maybe might show up on a Saturday or Sunday somewhere. Maybe be like, hey everyone, we'll see you tomorrow. You know, be prepared. You know, so who knows? Could be in Milwaukee, could be Madison. You know, we still have to, you know, might have, you know, keep our distance, wear masks, we'll do proper protocols, like Eric was talking earlier. But you know, we're gonna do it safe. We're gonna do it correct. We're gonna try to get out there and, you know, introduce ourselves, and maybe have to do the Chinese thing up online. I don't know. My friend
Oh my God.
kind of bow down, kind of quarter way, and fold your hands, or maybe do the elbow thing, or whatever. Maybe I wear gloves and give people fist punches. I don't know, whatever, you know. But we'll figure something out, you know.
Right.
But you know, we're all in this together, you know. But I really do appreciate, you know. So, you know, so that's Claire. There you go. There's my backstory. So
Yay!
So there's
Yay!
Claire. So there we go. So
Do we get Eric's backstory?
Oh yeah.
My backstory as far as this group, or what?
As far as the group.
I mean, it's kind of like around what Madison said as far as, you know, what she originally started for. I mean, we discussed, like, how we wanted to do it. You know, we wanted admins, moderators, you know, and I'm very happy to be a part of it, as long as and it's just, I'm really impressed with the growth that it's done recently, very recently. You know, I remember it was last year. I don't remember exactly when, but we also had a contest, Madison, if you remember that.
I do.
And where, you know, everybody got to participate. And I don't know if we'd want to do that again sometime in the future, but, you know, it's all about participation, people having the fair say in what they want to see. And I was really impressed with how people graded us as far as, what they think of our page. I was really happy with that.
Yeah, I was too. I thought for sure maybe we'll get like one down, like thumbs or
yeah,
something.
But I mean, as far as the backstory goes, it's just a place. I'm just happy that there. I mean, not that our website is the only one, but I'm happy we have an area where people can go and can talk to others if they're struggling with their identity, their orientation, whatever it is. That's to me makes all the difference in the world. That's probably why
Okay. I mean, not to bash the other groups, but this group I've had the best experience in so far.
Oh, that literally makes me feel like everything I'm working for is. I'm gonna become emotional. Okay, fine.
Don't get emotional.
Also, I do want to quickly mention as well. We do have another guest in here, Jackson. I do want to bring you up, honey, because what she's done. Oh my God, bless my heart. He's done it in Wausau. He's been an amazing. Just go ahead and go through what you do, honey, because you're good at it, and I love it.
Oh God, I don't even know where to start. So I guess first off, I run I think it's been October, it'll be 2 years. I run a group. We're primarily focused on the local transgender community. However, we do span across the whole community as a whole. Like I said, we've been serving the Wausau community for the past almost 2 years. Our youngest is 5, and our oldest is in her 90s. And at first, our first meeting was held at the Wausau Library. We had 5 people, and to this day, all 5 people still attend meetings pretty regularly. Yeah, I cannot talk today. Almost weekly. So there's that. We actually put on our first Trans Day of Remembrance event back in November, and we had a pretty decent turnout. We were only expecting about 50 people. We had almost 100. And the event, we also had, I think, 5 of our members actually speak on their experiences within the Wausau, Central Wisconsin area. So we did that. We've had a clothing exchange where we collected clothing donations, and basically anyone in need within the LGBT community or members' families as well were welcome to come and pick out what they wanted, free of charge. We had on top of clothing, we had personal care items as well. And we have, before the COVID took place, we were looking at, I have also started up a board to get a LGBT center, started up in the Wausau area. So we're in the process, we were in the process of registering ourselves as a nonprofit, figuring out our bylaws, stuff like that. I'm also, Madison, I was going to talk to you about this eventually when I got time. I was just contacted by our mayor, Katie Rosenberg, and I had approached our previous mayor probably 6 months back about looking into getting conversion therapy banned within Wausau for a start, and our current mayor now just got back to me and once COVID stuff is life's back to normal. I will be meeting with her, and then I will be, I believe, speaking to the city council on it, and we're going to look at trying to get that banned. Um, so I mean, there is quite a lot. I've been part of a few.
Your mic's cutting out. Can't hear you.
I was just about to say your mic cut out.
There we go.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there was Stevens Point Pride last year. Kind of a last minute thing, but I was also a part of their coordinating team, which is the first interesting. So yeah, there's quite a bit going on in Wausau. I've also started a resource list. I spoke for the Marathon County employees countywide. First, they had me come speak for Department of Social Services, and then Brad Carter, who hired January, had to ask me back a second time to speak for countywide employees. So I did that in January as well. I was scheduled to speak with students or speak for students at Wausau West and John Muir. However, that did get canceled. So there has been quite a lot on my plate lately.
That is so amazing.
Very amazing.
Therapy part. I'm impressed.
I mean, there is churches in the area that do send individuals out. My friend Blake Opal, he's the head of the River District in town here. He said he does have a friend who was actually sent out for conversion therapy. Churches that are sending out, I don't know currently, just because of everything being so closed down. But I am familiar with quite a few of them. So that's a big thing too. I mean, we weren't even sure we were going to be able to get it or work on getting it banned. But a few of my friends in the Appleton area, just actually were able to get Appleton banned. So I'm going to be, so I'm going to be looking into and probably meeting with a few of those individuals to see what our next steps are.
That's awesome. Good for you, honey. And that's exactly the reason why I had him talk, because so amazing, just so amazing, and really bless you for everything that you do, especially here in Wausau. We need people like that. We really honestly do. It's a small town, but that's again just amazing.
Yeah, you actually, I didn't know they were doing conversion therapy here, so that just kind of blew my mind.
And I don't think a lot of people realize what conversion therapy actually stands to. I think a lot of people just think it's talking about Jesus and talking to gay adults. When in reality, there's countless forms of conversion therapy, from sexual abuse to torture.
Wow.
Yeah, it's literally a mess, just what goes on, and it's been debunked literally by any kind of scientific research, and even people who have done it in the past, have run these, have said no, these are incredibly harmful and they do not work. So it's just one of those things where it makes you wonder why it's even still available, because it doesn't work. It just harms.
Well, I don't think the different types of people I have spoken to about it, I've realized that not a lot of people even realize that it is still a thing, due to the fact that these churches and these facilities, these health facilities that are offering the therapy, they don't necessarily put it out there that they offer it. It's more of an underground, if you will, situation. Um, so, a big part of it is, just because it's not visible right there in front of you doesn't mean it's not.
Exactly. No, and that's a good point. And I think that's one of the reasons why it's even around for the most part is because a lot of these places, I don't think they make it public, because then eventually they're gonna get slapped down with some kind of lawsuit or something, to get it, gone. So it's really, yeah, you're right. It is most of it now is underground. Versus 30, 40 years ago, that wasn't the case. But yeah, it's still a problem.
I think another big issue that I've been trying to confront within the Wausau area is, for those of you who don't or haven't heard, our Marathon County Board back in this past June, last year, brought the, what do you call it? Blanking on the name. They brought a bill, if you will, to the table, and they were voting on whether to deem June as Pride Month in Marathon County.
Yep, I do remember that.
Yeah, I was at every board meeting, one of which was 6 hours long.
What?
With the Marathon County Board, we have a lot of heterosexual, cisgender, white men. And they're all pretty much, I think they're all older. And a big issue I had with it was actually the head chair of the board, Kurt Gibbs. So they opened up these board meetings to the public. The public was able to attend these board meetings. However, they would not let the public speak on the matter. And the part of the argument is if we're gonna make June Pride Month, we might as well make it Diversity and Inclusion Month, which was actually a separate thing that they brought to the table, which was, so they passed June as Pride Month the first time, and then one of the board members brought it back, I think 3 weeks later.
Yeah.
And said that he wanted to change his answer to him voting no. And his reason was that he voted with his heart, instead of taking into consideration what his public constituents would like. And during these board meetings beforehand, there were situations where, my friends and I, or another member of the LGBT community, was walking into the courthouse, and a different public constituent who was against this, approached them and basically said that they were going to tell stuff like this. So when the public was allowed to be board meetings, but weren't allowed to speak on it, it also caused another argument, I guess, between the board members. Katie Rosenberg actually was a board member at the time, and she individually called up, I think, 6 or 7 people to speak, and every single one of them was voted not to speak. So it was a really big situation.
Wow.
And the whole thing was brought back to the table a second time, and it was voted through as being June Pride Month the second time as well. So there is, I feel, I don't think there's a lot of opportunities in Marathon County or Central Wisconsin for that matter, for people to be educated. So that's another thing I've been trying to work on as well. And I've kind of used the Wausau Trans Fam Alliance chapter to do that in a way. So yeah.
You're amazing.
Yeah, I did follow that story pretty well, as you said too, and I remember it very well actually. Yeah, like you said. I guess, yeah. I mean, from what I heard, the main argument was from people who voted no was that it was based off religious reasons, and to me, I don't think that's really a reason. I mean, to say it goes against my religion, therefore I'm not going to allow this, for other people who don't believe the same thing I do. I don't think is a valid reason. And I'm glad that it did get passed, but I don't know. I read also, I don't know, some of the opinions on it too. With I think it was like something. I don't know, something with the marathon paper, but I don't know. It was just
Wausau
Pilot, yeah.
Yeah, I know. I mean, Marathon County has come a long way within the past few years, but I still think, we obviously have a long way to go when looking at the acceptance and, overall open-mindedness of the LGBT community. I've spoken with a few news stations, and I've had quite a few. I even took it myself to go into the police station, and explain that not all members of the local LGBT community feel safe even walking down the street. I have quite a few members within the chapter here that aren't comfortable with cops. I have one in particular who is a trans woman of color, and she will literally go into anxiety attack and not be able to breathe if approached by cops. And I think that was looking into some of the pride events that we wanted to hold within Wausau. It was a big discussion on whether or not law enforcement was going to be welcome. So I don't only think that the community outside of the LGBT community needs has some work to be done, but I also think the local LGBT community as well has plenty of work ahead of them in letting other individuals in, and it's all a matter of I guess putting down your walls and letting people in. So.
Right. I think I was just speaking to somebody that deals with foster children that like if they don't get adopted by somebody, that they're kind of forced on their own at the age of 18. Now that's already difficult. I can't imagine being like hated by your family that you knew, or like you're trying to kind of like connect ties with family members, but don't want to have that because their family doesn't accept them. And I think I would love to. I kind of been thinking about this last year, but I would love to try to get a hold of some people that work in a foster care agency that we can maybe team up with and just kind of focus on these. There's a word for it and I forgot, but yeah, I'm not going to remember it now. But it's just something we should also look into as well, especially again with kids that are that have been sexually abused and or hit or just a bunch of stuff. It's really, really, really terrible to So.
And I know, a good person to talk about, that with would be Kimberly, blanking on her last name. She works at the women's community, and she has taken it upon herself to specialize in LGBT youth and young adults. And I've actually, before COVID, I was working pretty closely with her. She was on the board for the LGBT Center as well. So I think that's definitely something that can be, worked on. I think.
Awesome. I would love to meet with her and talk to her.
Yeah, maybe we can figure out a time for coffee or something.
Most definitely.
100%.
Well, everybody, I'm going to say goodbye for the night, but it was nice seeing everyone. Stay safe.
Yes.
So I just want to you all are so awesome.
What?
You all are so awesome at what you do.
Oh. I love it. Like, it's really an amazing feeling once you get in progress done. It's like the best, really the best feeling.
Especially with Jackson. Like I said, I didn't know there was so many issues going on out there, especially in Wassa. Yeah. I was oblivious to what was going on out there. So you just opened up my eyes to a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah, Marcel, there's even. I live in the Fond du Lac area, and I can tell you hands down, there's like I don't live in Fond du Lac, but I live just kind of north of it. Trust me, it's not saying it's the worst, but you kind of still have to watch what you do. I have to be out if I want to be out dressed properly. I have my best friend Lindsay with me most of the time. I mean her, or someone I trust. I'm not gonna lie to you. People when I was at Walmart maybe about a month ago, people just do one of these things. They got like the big eyes, like they're just staring at you, like, what are you, a horse? You blind or something, or what? Let's keep going. Go away.
Right.
People are kind of dumb like that. That's just how they are. That's their mentality. That's how their Christian, Catholic, Lutheran are taught. That's how they're taught. That this is their system, and that's what they believe in. So it's not right, but
I honestly can't imagine. See, I grew up in a rough neighborhood in the Milwaukee area, and that was something. Well, I had friends, and also a lot of friends that were from Milwaukee too. But I couldn't imagine, that kind of toughened me up a little bit, where, I can definitely stick up for myself, and I will definitely correct somebody if they're going to start harassing me and try to be a bully, because I am not the one. But for those people that haven't adjusted to that yet, or can't stick up for themselves, it just breaks me into millions and millions of pieces, because, you can be a bully to someone that can't even fight back. You don't do that. And now with, I think I don't want to, bring Trump into this, but just with everything more dividing, it's becoming worse. And it's making things worse for everybody.
I think a big part of my drive to, better and educate the Wassa community at least, was I've had quite a few personal experiences of discrimination and harassment.
So it's 2 a.m.
Coming out was pretty rough. I grew up extremely religious. My family and I went to church too. This is another reason why I wanted to come out to out. But it took my family a while to realize that my condition wasn't a thing. I actually, I understand, because me coming out was pretty impulsive. Because I didn't say it. I chopped off my hair one day and was like, I'm trans. But I also had not only the family experience,
It's up to you. If you don't want to, you don't have to.
I've also had, when I first came out, within the first year, my employer, a coworker found out I was trans, and actually physically assaulted me in front of one of my clients.
Oh my gosh.
He passed away that day. And, you know, at that rate, at that time, I wasn't comfortable saying anything. The only reason they found out was because I had a black eye. So, you know, one of the social workers at the facility said you need to talk to upper management. So, you know, I ended up talking to upper management, who in turn said, you know, you're just stirring the pot, you're lying through, you know. So that was a really big experience. I actually ended up taking the facility to court. We went through the Supreme Court, and equal rights sided with the facility. It was probably a year-long process. So I think that's another big reason for my drive and everything. I don't know. I mean,
no, I know. Like it can definitely voices somebody up when they have like even a stronger meaning behind it.
Right. I think after that, you know, it was just easier for me to, you know, say, you know, I like to say I don't really take shit from anyone. You know, I've gotten in trouble for it before where, you know, I've voiced my opinion and people haven't liked it. I've gotten fired from positions. And getting in with North Central Healthcare was actually a really big step for me too, because North Central Healthcare does do a lot with mental health. You know, like I said, they are focusing on putting together a diversity and inclusion training, and you know, I am now able to be a part of that, and you know, I've surprisingly been able to speak publicly a lot more than I anticipated. I've never been big on public speaking. Even talking to you guys is a lot for me, and like 300 people. So it's, you know, been a process. Definitely been a process.
That's awesome. I'm glad that we can hear and share your story. It's very touching, honestly.
Thank you for sharing your story with my audience.
You're welcome. Yeah.
It's been so.
Are you like very socially awkward? I've had people come up to me and, you know, they're like, "Oh, you come off as like stuck up." And you know, I think when I first met you, Madison, I was kind of quiet. I just
Oh my gosh, no, honey. I'm very loud. And like I think when I'm more intoxicated, I'm loud. But
Madison, get out of town. No way. Get on a lost girlfriend. No way.
I don't know. And like, I think that also kind of brings people like that. I got some haters because they think I'm seeking attention or whatever. I got kicked out of Oz because some guy was being rude to my boyfriend. So, like, I got my problems at Oz. Like, you know, you hear about that? You know, like, I know you're one of like you've been to Oz before. A lot of everybody else in the chat room hasn't. But yeah. So I don't mean to come off strong, but sometimes like I do, and I really, really, really love just hearing people's story, and sometimes I can be a little dramatic, but honestly, without it, but I honestly like I'm always trying to be gentle though, so.
Yeah, and I mean, I think a big part of my like social awkwardness too is, you know, I have a lot of family in Milwaukee, so I'll go down for, you know, weekends And I think one weekend I was at Costco getting something for my grandma, and some random person came up and introduced themselves, and I'm like, who the fuck are you? Like, excuse my language, but, and they're like, oh, you're Jackson. I'm like, yeah, I live 3 hours away. Like, how do you know me?
Right.
I had, like, I had someone walk up to me in Sam's Club locally, and I can be in Minnesota, and I have someone walk up to me, and I'm like, this is not normal. Like,
You're a local celebrity.
That's awesome, though. Yeah, I think what is also happening is that people are really like touched with your story, and it's becoming it's awesome. Like you're connecting with so many people.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you're going to help a lot of people once they hear this on the podcast.
I have a public Facebook, so if you want to follow me.
I mean, if you want to put your Twitter page out there, you can. Or Facebook.
Yeah, I mean, it's Jackson Asher Seeger. It's pretty easy to find. I'm the only one with that name. So. I'm friends with a lot of LGBT individuals within central Wisconsin, and I think other states as well. I have a pretty... I used to have a really massive following, and then my profile was deleted, so I'm kind of rebuilding back out there, but yeah.
Awesome. You are awesome. Thanks for being part of my podcast, everybody.
Oh, this is fun, Martel. I'm enjoying it. I can't wait to hear myself on the radio. I'm excited. Woo!
I know. Alright, so hopefully you all enjoyed the interview. I enjoyed so much talking to Madison, Claire, Jackson, and Eric. Hopefully you found this episode very informative, and hopefully, for some of you that's out there struggling with some of these situations or want to do better or whatever your case may be, hopefully you find this very helpful. Thank you for listening to this episode of Same Cast, Different Day podcast. I am Martel Rowland. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Martel Rowland. You can follow the podcast on Twitter, Spotify, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook at SCDD podcast, or you can email us personally at scddpodcast@gmail.com. If you have any questions, any suggestions, or things you want us to talk about on the podcast, just send us an email and let us know. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you, hopefully you listen next episode.